But first, with the Albanese government about to appoint the inaugural Integrity Commissioner for the new Federal Anti-Corruption Commission, it's worth looking at the record of these anti-corruption bodies at a state level and some secret detail out of Victoria tonight. The two polar extremes, of course, are Victoria and New South Wales. In Victoria, the Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission, or IBAC, it turned out to be a bit of a toothless tiger, at least in terms of reining in a government that constantly bends the rules to suit itself, given explosive claims by the retiring commissioner that he's been subject to clear political interference. In New South Wales, the Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC, has so far claimed the scalp of three Liberal premiers over relative trivia. And in the case of Gladys Berejiklian, hasn't even finalised its report into the issue that brought her down 18 months ago. Getting the balance right so that these commissions don't become kangaroo courts, destroying the presumption of innocence and deterring good people from public life. But also making it harder for officials to exploit the system, well, that's an obvious challenge. Take the latest corruption chaos in Victoria and this secret deal agreed today to protect the Andrews government. Late last year, the outgoing IBAC Commissioner, the respected former Supreme Court Judge Robert Redlich, sent a bombshell letter to the Parliament's presiding officers. He accused the government of trying to nobble his inquiries and cut the Commission's funding, he says, as an act of revenge. There are at least 4 inquiries involving the Premier and the government's possible involvement in rorting allowances, special deals with unions and council land deals. None of IBAC's hearings with the Premier have been in public, unlike hearings involving the Premier's political opponents. So IBAC can hardly be accused of being unfair to the Premier and his government, yet according to its former Commissioner, IBAC's experience with the government committee, and I quote, evidences a lack of fairness, partisanship and leaking of information to the media. What is most concerning, said the former Supreme Court Judge Robert Redlich, that the committee seemed intent on casting IBAC in a negative light for what we can only assume were political reasons relating to the work undertaken by IBAC. There he references, of course, the 4 inquiries involving the Labor government. And that, and I quote him again, the former judge went on, IBAC has been concerned for some time now that partisan politics has intruded into the workings of this committee on issues of integrity. Now, fast forward to today. After a lot of internal cross-party wrangling, there was supposed to be a new parliamentary committee established to investigate these claims by Redlich, as there should, given their gravity. But in the wake of the weekend's brouhaha involving neo-Nazis hijacking a women's rights protest, the Greens have instead done a deal with the Andrews government to drop any inquiry in return for ending the government majority on this IBAC Oversight Committee. So the prospect of an investigation into claims that the Andrews government has corrupted the anti-corruption body, well, that's now been lost because the Greens don't want the optics of cooperating with the Liberals at this time. It just goes to show you, doesn't it? You can have all the anti-corruption machinery in the world, but that doesn't necessarily make for a better government if the people in the system do deals like this.